Well, everyone, welcome to the Leads Your Shit, and you're going to be here like doesn't Taylor normally do the intro? Well, he can't make it today, so we have a guest co-host, and it works out because this week I had a call booked with Tom Storey, who's our guest co-host today, and I was booking the call with him to interview him for a story I was going to write in REM about marketing, and it's something that I know Tom does really, really well, and then I had to cancel on him for our scheduled interview time for the story, and the only time we could both make work happened to be the exact time of this show. So I said, instead of just that, let's just bring it on air and I'll interview live, and then you guys can see the story after. So, Tom, for those who don't know, maybe a quick background on
Yeah.
kind of you and your business, all that
First of
fun
all,
stuff.
Taylor, it was a good run. I'm the co-host now. You gave it your
Yeah.
best shot. I'll take it over from here. Okay, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name's Tom Story. I've been selling real estate in Toronto for 12 years now. Still, like the biggest portion of our business happens downtown. A lot of my business now is help people sell their condo and then they buy their house. Only do business in the 416 area code. Have a team of six other realtors now, three support staff. So we've kind of grown over the years. 100-ish transactions a year, depending on the volume. So we're a high volume team. Our sale price isn't crazy, but that's kind of how we stay in business. And yeah,
Yeah.
my business, of course, like most agents, you number one is still repeat and referral and staying in touch with your people, but then followed by number two, very much being YouTube has been a platform that we've really leaned into, taken advantage of, and has become 40% of our business this year. So yeah, I'm happy to chat about that today because I feel like it's this missed opportunity that does take time and effort and doesn't happen overnight, and you can't just pay to make
Yeah.
the leads come in. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing, but it once you figure it out, it's like holy crap, like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, like when I look at YouTube, I look at it as the highest degree of difficulty to get right, but
Mm.
the highest ROI of any online platform if you do it right. If you do it right.
Yeah, I'd
Like,
say like I don't from all the platforms that exist, and maybe you could say paid leads on Facebook. You have a all I'm trying to think is like how many realtors do you know that can say they sold 20 homes a year because of TikTok versus how many did it
yeah,
on YouTube versus how many did it on Instagram versus how many did it versus paid lead. I just think I know quite a few that can consistently do it on YouTube once you figure out the
yeah,
system and you're obviously consistent with it.
yeah. Like the consistency is a big part and then making it work. But like it's like a subscriber on YouTube to me, outside of an email subscriber.
Hmm.
Probably. And there's debates there, but I would say email still more. It's the most valuable platform to get a follower on. Like I would say it's probably 50 to 1. I would take a YouTube over 50 TikTok followers, probably 20 to 1 to like Instagram type of thing. Um, I don't you could probably debate those numbers
I
slightly, but
even like,
yeah.
I got lots of good friends that have huge TikTok followings, 500,000. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where are these people? They're like all around the world. It's like, that's cool. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have, we got 21,000-ish now on YouTube, which
Yeah.
again, like in the grand scheme of thing is nothing. I was actually thinking the other day, I'm like, do I watch anybody else's content religiously on YouTube that has a smaller or similar following to mine? And
Do
I
you?
don't know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
friends that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But like the tech videos I watch, millions of followers. I really like
Yeah.
watches like that. This is the stuff that
Yeah.
I'm watching outside of
Oh, I just
real
got one.
estate. Nice, nice. Okay, we can talk about that
Yeah.
for an hour if you want. But all the people I watch, they're
Yeah.
huge channels. And so I know
Yeah.
I'm like this little niche thing, but more than anything on any other platform, you really need like 1,000 subscribers, maybe, to get to the point that the people watching are like, oh, other people are here.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable now reaching out to this person, maybe.
Like even for me, like with using the Just Sell Homes channel, which I don't use anymore.
Mm.
Um, like I'm still under 1,000 subscribers and can point to a lot of business from that directly. And most of
Yep.
it came off the back of one video. It was just
What
like,
video?
so it doesn't anymore because it's not relevant anymore. But I created a post. So if you remember pre-housing category on Facebook,
Right.
there was the challenge, like you'd go to run an ad and it would say like the wording was like you need to certify compliance with local housing rules to continue running ads. But it
Right.
was not actually immediately obvious how to do that. And so what I realized is like I got this question probably 20 times a week in my inbox, and I got tired of like jumping on Zoom and showing it. So I just
Hmm.
filmed like a walkthrough with a client of like, here's where you go step by step through the recording on YouTube. And within 3 months, I was at 20,000 views. Because what we
Wow.
found is every agent, as soon as they did that, went and typed in how to certify compliance of a real estate ad on Facebook.
And you
And there
came
was
up.
no one else with that. And for me, that was literally my perfect ideal situation of someone's trying to run an ad on Facebook as a real estate agent and they're
That's your client.
frustrated with it. Yeah, and they're frustrated at doing it. So
Yeah.
immediately they watch my video, see how quickly I do it, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, I just need to hire this guy."
That's actually a really good point because what I've always thought about is like YouTube as a platform, I think more than the others, gives you an opportunity that if you can identify who your client is, like that
Yeah,
avatar that we all talk about, and that kind of like, I can now make a video. Like, we made a very specific decision kind of starting this year with our team that we knew because we have so many condo listings that it was going to be a tough year to get things done. So I said to
yeah,
all my team members, I'm like, I want you to wake up and pretend only buyers exist this year. I'll deal with the
yeah,
listings, I'll take them, but every
yeah,
piece of content we put out, every conversation we had should be buyer focused. Like that's what we wanted, which has been the opposite
yeah,
in every other year until now.
yeah,
So now it's like I can make content specifically for the type of client that I want. And because of the long form
yeah,
nature of YouTube, you can win them over a lot more by showing them you know what you're talking about versus a 30-second like clip,
yeah.
right?
Like, there's one I stumbled on, and I think you're almost doing something very similar to what he does. And do you know who Tacky Moore is?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen his like sales list system that he's been promoting lately?
I haven't seen that. I've seen
So
him, like I get his ads, but
yeah, so the way that his so he is a coach for coaches, so it's like most realtors not a relevant follow.
sure.
But how he executes actually really smart. And he did a test beginning of this year. And basically he films a 45-minute video. And essentially for him, that's his equivalent of his listing presentation.
Right.
Like this is the call, like if you call his sales team, this is what they'd walk you through to close you on becoming a client. And then all his other videos, it's like each of the like points he hits, he then has a 10 to 15 minute video on it. And at the end, he just goes, by the way, if you want to see our full coaching, like our full thing of how we help you, come over here. And it's like it's
Right.
that simple of a process. Like all his other videos push people to essentially his sales letter. And I've been working with Taylor on that's one of the things we've talked about on this show is like, let's build you like a 45 to 60 minute, let's take your listing presentation and just put it on.
Right.
The thesis being if the biggest thing like holding you back with listings is that like you just need more listing presentations, let's just put it online,
Right. Yeah.
right? Like let's get more people to see it. Your close rate will go down a little bit compared to in person,
Sure.
but you could probably get 10,000 more people to watch. And if you throw that many people through your listing presentation, you're going to get more listings. So, and that was kind of the even my original thing of like reaching out to you is we want to talk about long form. And like I know we talked, I don't know if it was a year ago, 2 years ago. Time flies, uh,
Yeah.
especially with young kids. You get it.
Honestly, I was just
Uh,
talking with Steve about this on our
yeah,
podcast. I'm like, the last 5 years could have been a year.
yeah,
It's crazy how fast time is moving right now.
yeah. That's a lot. And how old are yours now? Like
I
they're
got four,
some,
4 and 1,
yeah. So you're
or
right in
one in a
the
bit.
like,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
in the
you're right in
mayhem.
the heat of it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just coming out of that now because my youngest is 4.
Yeah.
So, but it's like we gotta drive more to long form. And like you were talking, I think it was said it was like a 45-minute video you'd put up about like buying a condo in Toronto.
Yeah. We just did
And
a
that's
new
where
one
like
actually.
I did, yeah, because I was looking at your thing before we came on here. But it's
Yeah.
like that, I think it like is where most people screw up when they think online is they just buy into the short form, short form, short form. But it's like short form gets attention, long form gets clients,
Hmm.
right? Like they need that time. So like I look at it to use like what all those speakers say of like know, like, and trust. I was like, those are distinct phases, and a 30-second video on Instagram isn't doing all three. You might get
Yeah.
the know and the like, but they need time to trust you.
Right. Yeah.
Like there was a mastermind I was at actually, it was a Tacky More mastermind, and they were looking at coaches and they said that it was I think he said they found that most people bought off their list. We actually were talking about this over text the other day. That like they've been on your list for years and then finally reach
Hmm.
out when they're ready. How do we speed that up?
Right.
And they found they studied all their database and when people bought, and it wasn't time on list. It was when they hit about 48 minutes of content is when they reached out.
Oh, interesting. Like total added up.
Yeah.
Huh.
And like there it's not an exact science, right? Because like what they did would be like, okay, if this article that they read is a 5 minute watch a read, they added that 5 minutes. Then if they click through to a
Right.
video, they took the average watch time on that video. Yeah, and roughly speaking, 40 minutes. And also what they did is when someone joins their list for the first 30 days, they blast them every different type of content they can on different, so they'd send them a podcast link, articles, all these to speed up how quickly they'd likely get to 48 minutes.
Huh.
And for them, that sped up how quickly people reached out because you need that time to trust someone. It's like the old thing. It's like people need 4 hours with you to trust you with their money.
Right.
And it's like that's why golf became like the big business thing is that gave people enough time. And it's like similar concept here of
Right.
they need enough time with you because like I'm sure it happens to you. Like I've done enough shows and stuff over the years. Like people will come up to you like they know you and they're your
Yeah.
friend, and you're like, I've never met you before. And you've never even seen their name come across your feed.
Yeah, because
And
they're not usually the ones commenting or
yeah,
telling you. They come up in person. You're like, that's awesome. Like, thanks.
yeah. Well,
It's
it's funny.
weird. It's a weird relationship, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't really know. In fact, most of the people that comment are the ones telling you that they don't like you.
yeah,
So then you're like, oh my God, is this what it is? And you're like, no, actually 95% just moved on with their day.
yeah.
And they're they're not listening anymore.
But like most of my clients are typically not people who comment and engage that way. It's the people who
Mhm.
just sit there quietly.
Agreed.
And
I
then
was thinking, do you comment on videos?
no, almost never. Like
Never. Me
I
neither. Never.
for
Never.
the odd like person I know,
Sure.
and then there have been things I've tested where like on someone else's video, as long as they're not like a competitor, if I can add value, I word it in a way that they'll want to look me up to see who said that.
Got it.
And then it comes into like my because like I used to do I don't do as much anymore, but I used to set up my profiles as like a think of it like a landing page to capture leads. And so I'm like, okay, if I comment on the right places for the right people to see, they'll be like, who is that guy who gave that really good insight? Come to my page and I'll have like a 3% conversion rate to lead.
Huh.
Um, so it's like just the way we would set up a process. What if I take that part of my lead gen out? No, I almost never.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for doing it for the sake of doing it to tell someone I even agree. It's not that I
Yeah.
disagree on what they're talking. I'd never do it.
No.
And
And
ever.
it's even just little things like even like comedy. Like there's a lot of things I find funny. I will
Yeah.
privately send it to people and
You'll send it to your
do a lot of
friends,
shared. Yeah.
but you
But
won't
that's
tell the comedian in the post, this was
no,
funny, thank you.
I would DM them before I commented.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
I so, and this is like what Instagram's even said is 80 to 90% of all of Instagram activity is DM based. Like
Hmm.
very little is actually done publicly. So
Interesting.
most people, so like when I do Instagram content, like the short form stuff, I only look to saves and shares. I don't care about likes and comments as like a metric of did this resonate, did this work? Especially like listings. Like if no one's sending your listing and doing that, like, oh, check this out, honey,
Right.
you know that it's not getting traction. Like comments, it's like, oh, look, there's another mortgage broker, another inspector, another agent from, that I know from conferences being like,
Sure.
great job. And I'm like, okay, but that's not helping me. But the sends and the saves are, okay, people actually liked this. Let's send it and let's share it.
I
Let's do
guess
that.
what I've noticed too, like my algorithm is funny and like sometimes when something has 1,000 shares, it's
Yeah.
like really great information. Sometimes it's like the cringiest video you've ever seen, and
Yeah.
people are sharing it to be tell their
To
friend,
make
like,
fun
look
of
at
it.
this thing.
Yeah. Can you believe this?
Yeah, that's where it's
Yeah.
tough when there's like no likes but tons of shares. You're like, oh
Yeah.
no, this went
Yeah.
viral for
There,
the wrong reason.
oh yeah, it's like you see there's especially when it's like the start of one and you're like, oh, there's like 2 likes, no comments, and 18 shares. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's going the wrong way.
But yeah, but to go back to like the long form stuff,
Yeah,
that's been like there's two active videos now on the channel. One that's a year and
yeah,
a half old, which is like a 32-minute video on how to buy a house in Canada.
yeah.
That's still um maybe if I can maybe can I share my screen on this? Does it let me?
Yep. Oh yeah. Just talk
I'll
through as you're doing it in case
yeah.
some people do the audio only.
Yeah. So basically I'm just gonna pull up the YouTube analytics here on the back end. Hold on here. So let me see if this works.
Name of the real
Continue.
Tacky or not. So Tacky More, which I'll put it's TAKI and then more. Um is he's not a realtor. He is a coach of coaches, and he's not real estate specific, but he's a good guy to like pay attention to in the sense of really specific like execution. He's really good at and like he's one like even if I'm not there for his content, I'm looking at how he's doing it because he does a lot of testing and he's one of those guys who's always best practices.
Can you see this okay?
Yep.
Okay, so the point I want to just make here is that what you're looking at here is just the last 48 hours of my YouTube channel. This
Yep.
is my favorite way of tracking because it shows you what people watched in the last 48 hours. Now, the first two videos are my last two videos. So, of course, they're going to be the most watched in the last
Yep.
48 hours.
Yep.
But if you keep going down, there's a video from 3 weeks ago that still got 178 views where he went through recent sales under 500,000. So it's not evergreen forever because it's now
Yep.
data, but that will last a few months. The fourth video I posted October 1st, 2024, which is how to buy your first house in Canada, a step-by-step guide. That video in the last 48 hours got 133 views.
Now, for that one, I'm just thinking out loud. I'd love to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts on it. So, like, if I were to look at that without seeing analytics and knowing that it's working for you,
Hmm.
I would suggest the change of like, and I'll explain why. Like, I think yours is designed to get more views. My hypothesis would be more like targeted clients. And
Yep.
maybe your choice is to like how to buy your first home in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, so the reason why I did it is because I knew it would get more views. So this video is
Yeah.
at like 45,000 views now, I think,
Yeah.
but started really bad and then just built slowly.
Yeah.
And so my idea was in the first 5 minutes of this video, I say, I'm a Toronto real estate agent and I'm going to walk you through how it works in Toronto, but this is relevant to 95% of how it works everywhere else.
Yeah.
If you need to buy in another market, I can refer you to someone great. So I've actually sent out 20 or four 25-point referrals that converted to agents in other markets because of this video.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that
And
was
that
the rationale behind it.
Yeah, which I figure it's probably something like that because it's like that's one like we look like I do content like I'm like, up here in Newmarket.
Mhm.
This is what I was like talking is like if you really want to nail it down, like the how to buy a home in Canada, if you also just change it to like how to buy a home in Newmarket in 2025,
Yeah.
you're gonna get more local views, but not you're gonna be a much smaller share.
That's it. And then this other one down here, and this is the newer one. This is the hour and 6 minute video, which is highly edited. Like the idea was make a masterclass, show
Yeah,
people everything they'd ever need to know. That's still got 70 views in the last 48 hours. And
yeah.
that's how to buy a condo in Toronto.
The question here from Jennifer, the video you were talking about, does it show where the views are coming from? I think if you
Yes.
click through it, it breaks
Yeah.
that type of thing down.
Oh, let me go back to the analytics part.
I would expect one like how to buy your first home in Canada would attract more outside of Canada. Like, there'd still be Canadians for sure, probably as
Hmm.
the number one. But I'd expect one like that would end up with
So
more.
yeah, so this video, it's at almost 50,000 views, all
Yeah,
completely algorithm based, like I didn't pay for anything.
yeah,
9,000 watch hours, which is always a funny stat because if you add that up, that's like a crazy amount of like it's like
yeah,
over a year of people watching it. Great for subscribers too.
yeah. That's
Like it
solid.
did
Yeah,
really good and made me $350, which I don't care about because the GCI revenue is what you actually care about. Um, here's how people were finding it. So 36% of people, it was being suggested to them. Search was
yep,
popping up in 33, browse features, external. I wonder if it shows. Here's the external ones. I
yeah,
don't know what that college thing is. Some people are sending in a WhatsApp, I guess.
yeah. Probably.
Um, I don't know like how to
Is it TubeBuddy that does audio? Or maybe go to audience there, tab, the audience tab,
the audience tab.
or was
Yeah.
it TubeBuddy that sometimes shows it? I forget.
So it's crazy too. 30% of people that watch this watched it on their TV.
So now that I have kids, I understand that more because
Yeah.
we will do YouTube more on the TV. Not that we do it a lot,
Oh, here you go.
than other places. Yeah, yeah, that
So
makes sense.
85% was Canada, and then the rest, I don't really know how that would all add up.
The one
Maybe a
I
bunch
like
of
there is 92% from the not subscribed.
yeah. So it's getting new people to show up.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
if they're
key.
just trying to buy a house, they're probably not going to subscribe because this is just the one video they care about.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, it always skews male. Like it says 80% male, but when I get appointments from YouTube, it's almost 50-50.
Interesting.
Or like it's a
Yeah.
wife and husband and the wife booked the appointment, but maybe she watched the video on the husband's YouTube account. So I don't know like exactly how they're doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, like that, I mean, mine's similar. I'm probably across all my accounts 55% male, typically. And then like
Yeah.
very clearly in the like 35 to 55 is my primary, like 35 to 55, 55% male is
Yeah.
pretty my main demo.
Here, I'll stop sharing this now. I can go back if we
Yeah.
need to reference anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, those type of videos, like the you think about the content you post, and most stuff we would post about would be irrelevant in like a week or less, right?
Yeah. Most like that's how I treat social content is it has a lifespan of max 72 hours besides the odd one that hits.
Like market data is helpful for a
Yeah.
week and then it changes.
Yeah.
News headlines are helpful for a week, then they change. The only
Yeah.
videos that would remain are like list videos. And
Yeah.
I think they can hold for like 2 or 3 years, and then you just remake the same one.
Yeah.
Um, and then these like super long form ones, I think they could stay relevant for like 5 years if they really needed to. But I'm just going to remake them every 2 years and then put
Yeah.
2026, 2028. We have one coming out on Monday where it's me and my team member going back and forth on
Yeah.
here's all the mistakes we hope that condo buyers will not make.
Yeah.
And so just buying a Toronto condo in 2026, 10 mistakes to avoid. Like it's
Yeah.
simple, but those
Yeah.
videos do really well long term.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people overcomplicate what the actual content you need to put out is. And that's when it's like it's such an easy one. You just gotta like be consistent. Like the biggest thing is consistency.
Oh, for sure.
And then actually looking this because someone asked me about it was actually I'm forgetting the guy in Calgary who does YouTube really well. Um
There's a lot in Calgary.
yeah,
There,
yeah,
there's like,
there's a lot there. But like it was like one of the guys who like first blew up there. I'm forgetting his name right
was it
now.
Jared Chamberlain or Nolan Mathias or
It wasn't Nolan
uh,
because I've heard his name a bunch lately too. I think it was
Nolan taught me pretty much
Brad.
everything. Oh, Brad
Brad
McCallum.
McCallum.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I
Brad.
think he
Yeah,
was the yeah, yeah. Because someone was like, okay, like he blew up his business with YouTube. You got to do that. And like basically the argument I was making to that was like you can blow up your business the same way with cold calling,
for sure.
but like at the end of the day, all like what he's doing and what I assume you're doing too is like you look at the videos, you look at the results, you make the next one better based on what you saw there, and you just keep doing that. If you do that with cold calling, door knocking, they all work. I
The
just
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's just YouTube has way more reach and like the top end of that, like you'll burn out eventually with cold calling.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, honestly, sometimes
yeah,
even like filming YouTube stuff, I'm like, I have no
yeah,
interest in this thing I'm talking about today,
yeah,
but this is as important to me as picking up my phone at this point. Like
yeah. No,
for the
like for you,
results that
that's
it's
the core
getting,
of your
you
business. Like
know?
you got to do it. Like, do you set like how far ahead are you planning your videos out?
2 weeks maybe.
Yeah,
Um, but I rarely will have a video scheduled to post where it's posting more than a week out. Like
yeah,
it's still, I'm pretty like I know what I'm posting Monday and Thursday next week. I don't have anything recorded
yeah,
for after that. I'm usually a week ahead.
yeah. And like and is that the same for your like shorter videos versus like your 45-minute plus ones, or are those more planned out?
Those are way more planned out. Like the newest
Yeah,
condo one, that was a month of figuring it
yeah,
out. Because that what we did with that new one, which you'll probably like, is we built a lead magnet right into it. So at the
yeah,
beginning of that video, it goes
yeah,
download our guide. So I think we have 41 or 4, I got to double check this morning. Like
yeah,
42 people have downloaded that and given me their email.
yeah. That's
And
perfect.
then I mean, imagine they download that, they watch the thing for an hour and 6 minutes and fill out their book. Like, unless they really have a realtor that they trust, there's a good chance I'll get a percentage of that business,
Yeah, like
right?
how I would probably, and this, I'm not tested enough to say this is exactly the right. I would do like first like 30 seconds, give the lead magnet.
Yeah.
I would then repeat the same lead magnet halfway through.
Hmm.
And but the end, I would actually try to push them to another piece of content, but I'd still remind them about the lead magnet. But that, like, say you had a listing presentation or a buyer presentation on there,
Right.
like the pure. if you want to work with us, watch this video to see how that process looks. In the description, there's one for buyers, one for sellers, one for investors, or something like that. Like that's how I would do is like because if you
Mhm.
get to the end of a 40-minute video or even a 15-minute video, that's a higher intent person in
Oh, for
general.
sure.
So then if they go to like, oh, I am selling my house. I want to see what it's like to work with Tom and his team. That's then a high quality click through. But you capture them initially. But that's how I would look at it is
Mhm.
the beginning, middle, and then push them to like your listing presentation if they get to the end.
What we did, I think, in this one is like we did it at the beginning because it wasn't like a presentation. It was like an actual workbook that
Yeah.
they would fill out when they're
As
watching
they
the
went.
video. Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
halfway through, I stop and kind of acknowledge them and be like, hey, thanks for still being here. If you want to
Yeah.
just book a call with us now, we
Yeah.
can skip the next half hour. We can just have this conversation.
Yeah. We'll
Um,
personalize it to you.
yeah, because if they're there half an hour in still watching,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, just at this point,
Yeah.
let's just connect if you're ready.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, I'll
where
even
it
take the
doesn't
call.
feel salesy because you're half an hour
Yeah.
in, right?
Yeah. So there are two
Yeah.
questions. Have you tried utilizing AI during your production or research?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the main thing it's doing for us is helping me title the video.
Yeah.
And
Us too.
then what I've noticed is title is the most important, followed by the thumbnail. And what we're doing now in every video is like, and like Bank of Canada, by the way, you put that in any video and it will do well. I just had one go over
Yeah.
100,000 just because of that title, not because the video is better
Yeah.
than the other ones.
I can cloud. We got a question in with the Bank of Canada governor when a reporter went, and that
Oh
one
yeah.
went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Well, yeah.
So, title, I'm using AI. Like I'm still thinking of like this is what I'll say like this is what the
Yeah.
video is about. I want the most amount of people to see it and if
Yeah.
like what titles would you recommend? Once I find one I like, then I will say now I want one or two keywords that I can put in the thumbnail for this video, but they
Yeah.
can't be the same words in the title. They just have to be like
Yeah.
reference
So
things.
try this on your next one when you're doing
Hmm.
the title thing. Like do that and then say on top of that, I want five as if you are each of the following people.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you do like Evan Carmichael
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
a Gary V, Donald Miller. And I found when I add in those, and then I'll typically look at, okay, combine, number three here, four here, and one
Hmm.
here. I like that theme and refine it. But I found when you add in very specific people, and I always add in like an SEO like Rand Fishkin, because then it forces it to look at it through an SEO lens. And
Right.
then like someone else will force it to look at it from like a clickbait one. And it forces different perspectives through, and then you can read through and push it in.
The
And I
annoying
found that
thing
that
is like
helps.
clickbait does work. That's
I
what
know.
sucks so much is like if
As
you
the owner of
post
RAM, I can confirm.
like you feel weird sometimes. You're like, I
Oh,
didn't
I know.
want to name it this, but if I
The
don't name it this, there I feel like the information's good. And if they don't ever click on it, they'll never get
the
the
here's
information.
the frame to look at it is curiosity gap versus clickbait.
Mm,
So a clickbait when they like curiosity gap is you're piquing someone's curiosity. They come and then there's payoff.
right.
Clickbait, there's no payoff,
Got it.
right? Like that's how I look at the difference is if whatever your thing delivers on the title. So I like what I tell my team is like because we have to get the clicks is like push it as far as you can where the content still delivers on whatever the promise of the headline is.
Right.
It goes to clickbait when it doesn't deliver on it. So as
The
long as you hit that.
There was one I felt pretty good about recently where it was like I was reviewing my predictions from last year, which is always
Yeah.
like a fun, people always like that video. And so I called it, I was wrong about the Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
And my first prediction was reviewing, I said they'd only get to 2.5, but they got to 2.25.
Yeah.
So I literally actually said in the video, and there you go, I was wrong about the Bank of Canada. So I'm like, it wasn't clickbait. Like it was a real thing I talked
Yeah.
about, but it also definitely made you click on this.
Yeah. So we have another two questions here. So we got Ryan Gilmore. Oh, hey Ryan. What are you using to gauge what your audience wants to hear about? Do you use a trend tool like Answer the Public, follow Reddit headlines more organically?
Honestly, it's usually a gut feeling, which I know is not a helpful
Very
answer at
helpful.
all. No, if you look at my content, so like I'm not posting listing videos on my YouTube account. That would screw up what people are like. I know what they came for, so I try to make more of what they're clicking on.
Yeah.
Is like the simple answer. So I only really make 4 or 5 types of videos. Market updates, list videos, which is best condo sales under 500,000, best 5 neighborhoods, best 15
Yeah.
areas for families, like, the just the list video. Then you've got the masterclass style ones, which are take a long time, but are great for appointments. Expert interviews, actually my top 2 videos on my channel, 100 and something thousand views and 77,000 views, are both an
Yeah.
interview with my mortgage broker. Like, I have no
Random.
idea why that did well. No
So
idea.
I had a similar one with when I was doing Over a Pint. My number one video, which had 160,000 views on one of my episodes, and this was Facebook video.
Yeah.
I wasn't putting that much on YouTube, was my team was in my house for our annual planning. And at the end, I just put a tripod up, gave everyone a beer, and just we shot the shit. Like we didn't even really like talk tactics, strategy, just like
Yeah.
us goofing around. Like I'm like, oh, this is one of those videos that's like a throwaway. No one's ever gonna watch it. Number one we've ever
Well,
posted.
that's what is so frustrating is you will
Yeah.
work so hard on a video and you think
Yeah.
it's really good and helpful and it does fine. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I just need to post something this week. I don't have time. I'm just going to
Yeah.
record on this thing. And then it blows up. And you're like,
Yeah.
well,
Why am I even?
this doesn't seem fair because,
Yeah.
it's like, and then the other type of video you can do is news headline breakdown. So it's like those are the
Yeah.
5 that I post in different ways. Um,
Yeah.
and then finding that balance between allowing the channel to still grow by doing the market updates and the news headline breakdowns, but then creating the content that converts really well, which is the masterclass style stuff. The list videos actually converts really well because you get to show your knowledge,
Yeah.
and the expert interview. So I'd say like 3 of the types of videos I make are like, I believe, really
Yeah.
helpful. 2 are pure entertainment,
Yeah.
but it gets you to click on it and show up.
And then I see your next round of content. Like this is actually where I think short form could really it helps me figure out long form if I'm trying new things. Is I'll
Mhm.
put out like 5 short form videos on different topics in different ways, and then whichever one does at least triple my regular metrics, I do long form on that.
Oh,
So if I'm not
interesting.
sure which long form piece to do, I just dive in and be like, all right, I'm gonna do like a teaser almost of like one takeaway from what that bigger one would be. Whichever one does the best, that's the one I'm going to put the long form effort into.
I wonder, like, how captivated does someone have to be to watch a short form clip and go like, I have to go watch. I have to
So I
change
don't have a long
platforms.
form. I don't have the long form existing at this point.
Oh,
It's to
okay.
tell
Okay.
me when I go create the long, like
Got
this is
it.
the long form to create. So instead of like guessing what the audience might want, I'll just like I'll grab my phone, point at my face, and give like I did one, like if it's Facebook ads, I
Hmm.
might instead be like, all right, here's a quick tip on how to get around the housing category.
Right.
And if that one does, but then the next one might be here, like, do you used to show up in Google searches? Like, if you ever Google searched your own phone number here and like, here's what you need to do to consider that. And like, I'll do like
Right.
5 very different singular tips like that. And then whichever one blows up the most, gets the most saves, gets the most shares, I go make a long form version of it that like
Got
breaks
it.
down the tactics and then like lead magnet tied to it. Because like similar, like if we were doing like 100% best practices, every single video should have a customized lead magnet.
Sure.
That's a lot of work
Yeah.
and not always worth the effort. But if we're going like 100% best practice, that's how you would do it. We have some questions here. Do you feel that your combination recipe combining podcast and YouTube has provided more connection with the audience than just focusing on one or the other?
Yeah, absolutely. The podcast is a completely unedited hour conversation every week with my
Yeah,
co-host Steve, and I find I get to be more my it's my real personality shines through a lot more than when I'm doing the videos where I'm very focused and they're edited. And
yeah,
so yeah, I found it's been a really nice mix. Um, I still don't know exactly, like, every YouTube lead exactly where they came from, other
yeah,
than that they've reached out to me, so that's all I really care about.
yeah,
But yeah, the podcast, by far, I think one of the best things I've done. And even as you mentioned, like, your best performing video was you guys sitting around.
yeah,
Like, we had a comment on one of ours recently where we actually filmed an entire episode in the car,
yeah,
where we were driving, and I just had the dash cam on, and
yeah,
people were like, I feel like this is an inside look at how real estate really works. This is so cool.
yeah.
Um, where we put zero thought into that episode. It was just like, let's just start driving and see what we say.
Yeah, I did one like that with somewhere I was picking up a speaker friend from the airport.
Mhm.
and we didn't even have a show. I didn't even have a show at the time, so we just called it like one of one. I just picked him up and drove him to his hotel 45 minutes away. And we just turned the camera on for the 45 minutes we were
Right.
driving. And that was it. Oh, that one's for me. Are you still doing Over a Pine anymore? No, not right now. I would like to bring it back eventually. So it was a COVID casualty because I was only doing in person. Because like part of it different than that, right? Like so like the point of that show when I started it now 9 years ago was to get FaceTime with people, not to have people watch it. Like it was a networking tool to get in front of one potential clients or partnership people. So like the easiest example here, like I know Tommy Royal Page is like when I was like 27, I got 3 hours with Phil Soper in his office.
Right.
You don't get that as a 27-year-old Facebook ad guy unless you have something like that. So like if you look at my first like 20 episodes of Over a Pint, 10 of them became clients and probably another three led to partnerships for something. So it was very so like my point was I wanted to be in person and spend that time with them and build a relationship and have a beer with them because I'm been told many times I'm more engaging over a beer than just sitting there. So I was like, this is easy. And then they were like, you notice as soon as you crack the can, everyone's tension goes out
Yeah.
and everyone relaxes. It's just like an automatic response. But then the problem for me, and this is why I'm not doing it now, besides the in-person part, because I'm in Newmarket, so no matter what, it's an hour each way, anywhere you're going for the most part, um, and if not more, is I had to be the one to edit it because you're getting people to drink. There's RICO violations that might get said, or some things like that, and because it's very informal, people are a little looser with disparaging
Uh-huh.
a registrant and those types of things that like an editor who's not like well versed in the industry might not know. So then I had to do the first edit on top of the kind of so like each episode became a 10-hour commitment for me. And to do a weekly show, that's a 10-hour commitment. It just became too much. Whereas like leads are shit here. It's the hour of filming. Taylor and I typically meet the 20 minutes before the show goes live, and then it takes me an hour to do the editing, which is I just basically cut a little bit at the beginning, never at the end, add the logo,
Yeah.
paste, and then it's just like creating the rest of the content around it. So like I'm max 2 hours a week for this as a commitment versus the 10 for Over a Pint. Um, so I'd like to bring it back. Like my long-term vision, create a studio that looks like a pub, like a booth, and people come to me to film.
What's the 2025 version of Over a Pint? You just pop an edible and then
So when they legalized it, I still had the show, and I put out a joke. I had my graphic designer switch Over a Pint to Over a Joint, and he switched the beer to a joint. So many people thought that's the most I've ever had people request to be a guest on the show. I was like,
Really?
this isn't real. They're like, no, no, I want to be. Now, half of them were just like, I want to see you do that. And I want to like be there when you're like that because I can't picture what you're like in that thing. And I was like, I don't even do that. But literally the most message I've ever got to be a guest on the show was when I jokingly put out an over a joint. But yeah, no, like, and we did things, and this like there's a lot of learnings for that. Like the problem with alcohol is there's a lot of rules around how you promote it.
Oh,
Right.
right.
So like if they felt it was too close to a beer commercial, I could not put any money behind it ever, anywhere. And it would get like content warnings on YouTube and like different things like that. Because like the beginning, what I would do is the original version of the show is I'd pick a local craft beer to the guests of the show and try to tie it to them somehow. Like because they have always like the goofy names. So I try to like find one that ties to you or something that would like represent you, either in a complimenting way or kind of like a roasting kind of way. Like there was a top team lead in one area who everyone thinks he's arrogant. He's actually a very humble guy, but I brought for his episode in front of my crack arrogant bastard, the stout. Which he because that
Did
was
he
our
like
first time
that?
meet. He did after, but he was like because that was our first time meeting too. So he didn't know if I was about to like come and be like a giant dick to him,
Right.
or if I was just like actually a fun guy having it because he didn't know me before. Whereas if I did that to you, you would probably just laugh and
Yeah.
go out of there, right? Like he had a little bit of that initial like I don't know what I'm about to get into. And then as soon as it was like we're having fun and laughing, it was fine.
Right.
And then after he laughed, but you could see the hesitate if you find that episode. you can see a little bit of hesitation when I bring out the arrogant bastard.
You know what I think, like
Yeah,
going back to the very first thing we talked about is like
yeah,
your ideal client is obviously different from everybody watching this show.
yeah,
In fact, the people watching this show are your ideal clients. But my ideal client and realtor's ideal client are people that are looking to buy and sell properties,
yeah,
like hopefully in the next 120 days. That's like
yeah.
that's the thing. So I've just seen so many realtors make shows or podcasts or content where they're just talking to other realtors about sales tactics and real estate stuff. If you're trying to sell a
Yeah.
coaching business, like by all means do
Works
it.
great.
But
Yeah.
like the
Come
reason
into
why
my
our
world.
podcast works is because even though I'm well aware lots of realtors listen, like because I get told, we didn't make it for you. It's
Yeah,
for
like your main,
consumers. It's
like
made for
aren't your
buyers and
main
sellers.
sponsors for realtors?
Well, that's true too, because I mean, that
Yeah,
that just happened because naturally we
yeah,
still know like a lot of our audio listeners are realtors, but the YouTube is probably
yeah,
mostly consumers.
yeah,
And consumers need home inspections too, right? So it's like,
yeah. Well, don't you have Realty Ninja as well, or is that?
yeah, we have Realty
Yeah,
Ninja. They've
yeah.
been our sponsor for a long time, like two
No,
years
like the
now.
the home inspection one is perfect because it's both, right?
It's
Like for
both.
them, they want both sides of your audience. Realty Ninja only wants the
But I think,
smaller
yeah,
side.
I mean, they still like us and they still are there. So I think it's working
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, like,
they
so like
talked
our
to them
show
about it. They
is
did. Yeah,
okay, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, our show is for Canadian buyers and
yeah.
sellers. Like that's
This
what
is, I
it's
think, the
for.
biggest mistake most kind of realtors make when they get into it. And this is where I think a lot of those people, like, we all know 50 people like that, especially us being in the space of like those people who are a big deal online as realtors, but actually sell like 2 to 4 deals a year max,
Yep.
right? Like, there's a lot of them. And it's like, I think like most of the time that's not like it. How it happened is like they put out one video that wasn't consumer focused, and like all their friends who are realtors thought it was hilarious, and then, oh, that one got a lot of like likes and comments. I'm going to make another like that. And
Hmm.
before they know it, their entire audience is realtors and not consumers. And then they're just forced to either go one of two routes, which is sell a course on how to do it
Right.
or join a downline. Like those
Hmm.
are the two
Yeah.
paths forward because you're not selling real estate. But it's like, it's not that that was their intention. It was just they kind of had a couple videos blow up here for their office and friends in the industry, and they looked at the wrong signal and be like, "Oh, that was successful. I'm going to do more of that." And that's where it's like I could tell like you, and then like there's a few others in Toronto that do that really well of like that focus on the consumer and not on the agent side.
I mean, as a business owner, like I mean, the agent
Yeah.
side's important. Like realtor
Yeah.
referrals is my third biggest
Yeah.
lead source. Um,
Now, how much of
but
that is from like that, like your videos versus like Chairman's Club? Because I would assume that's a pretty good chunk.
it's
Yeah.
probably like chairman's conference stuff from speaking on stages,
Yeah.
uh plus people that listen to the podcast and the like I
Yeah.
don't know
And then that
exactly.
probably also leads into it. Like I'm guessing people meet people at chairman's and stuff like that, go on
Exactly.
stages, come here. People
Yeah,
here will come follow you there. And yeah,
that's
that's
the idea. And because like
yeah.
I always joke like my car is like when you're leaving a grocery store and you have the shopping
Yeah.
cart, if you go
Yeah.
too far it locks the wheels and you're
Yeah.
stuck. Like that's my car in Toronto. So I'm going to refer out everything as well. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Like refer me business, I'll send it back.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to your market to try to sell a house. So
I mean, it's not a great strategy right now in Toronto, but this is what a agent who told me in Toronto why he went to pre-con
mhm.
is every time that he was spending all this time in cars and doing this showings and finding lock boxes at condo buildings and parking spots, he's like that's the time I could have been selling. So every like move I made in my business was to get to how can I spend more time actually selling real estate, and that's how I ended up doing pre-con. Was he's like I didn't even have to leave the office for that, so I had no showings.
I know exactly who you're
And
talking about.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
most in
Yeah.
Calgary now.
Yeah.
So question here: do you think some of the reasons for customer complaints due to the lack of transparency is the confusion from provincial legislative practices instead of one federal regulated standard across the country? I mean, if you get into that kind of line of thinking of consumer complaints about the lack of transparency in the industry, it's not even just can like even if you did a federal regulate to get rid of that, you'd have to then federally line up with the US too, because they get so much media from down there that it's like here, how many people think we have like the Fifth Amendment or something, right? Like you talk to cops here, they'll even say like people cite their amendment rights in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's one of those like people because they see it on TV all the time, right? Like so to when you get into that type of thing, it's I mean, I think a lot of it, and I'm curious because you would probably get a lot of comments on your stuff that are on the negative side too, because there's more negativity towards realtors than marketers. Um, but it's like it's more just they don't know how the process works. Like how many people think agents still get a salary from their brokerage or like they give you a cell phone. They like people just haven't taken the time to learn how that it's a commission based thing entirely. And like you're more a business owner than you're just like a sales rep that they like go into the brick and see some guy selling a couch. Like it's a
Right.
completely different model.
Yeah. And I don't know,
Yeah.
like, it's fair. Like, why would they know that?
Yeah.
They move once every 10 years and
Yeah.
just like everything, like you hear the bad stories. Like what they're aware of
Yeah.
real estate right now is that we lost self-regulation in Ontario and like
Not
that, but
yet.
that's
We haven't lost that
not
yet. If
technically,
you want to
not
get into the
technically.
technical side
We're
of it,
just
yeah.
being like watched closer now. Is that what's
Yeah,
happened?
so we might so right now he's taking over and
Got
then
it.
we might lose it. He might give it back just with new systems and processes in
Okay.
place.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if the
Don't want to go
government
down
can't fix
that.
it, nobody
Yeah.
nobody can.
Yeah. No, I mean to go down that rabbit hole is a whole other one. But that like for even for your channel, like if you commented on the iPro thing, you'd probably get a ton of like that one,
Yeah,
the amount of traffic we get is huge.
we brought it up on the podcast just to update people on, like, I always like to do the timelines of, like,
Yeah.
here's the dates that things have happened just so you understand where things are at right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't do a main channel video on it just because to me that is a good, like, interesting, informative update that is
Yeah.
negative to our industry. They're gonna find it whether it's me or somebody else. I'd rather make a market update video. Like,
Yeah.
that will get me a ton more views, but
So that like to get into content like that, you have to be really clear on not just who your ideal audience is, but what are like the core values you're trying to put out. So like with REM, when we cover it, like we look at it as like we represent the people who like our core audience at REM would be people who treat this like a business as a full-time thing. Like we're not here for the hobbyists and like the people who do like one deal every 3 years and actually hate realtors. Like that, we specifically are not trying to cover that segment of licensed people. We
right,
are just looking at that top 20, 30, 40% who it's like they either have it as a serious business or are trying to make it one. Like that. So when we comment on iPro, it's from the, like, what would they care about? Right. So
right,
like, what's the angle for them where we have their back in it? And that's the approach we take. Like you have to really know that because like I got asked to, and then I'm not, we got bumped but I was gonna be interviewed on CBC about the iPro thing.
okay,
And like that's the way we looked at it is like, okay, if we're going on, it's we're going on with the goal of like having the top end of the industry's back and being like, majority like most of that this group want them out, want them
right.
prosecuted, want them in jail. And like that's where we're going with it is like show that this group is really good. Um, and that's like, but unless you want to get into like the nuance, like it's sometimes
That's
just
probably
worth
why
it
you
to
got
get rid of it.
bumped, is because they just wanted
Yeah.
the
Oh,
negative
they,
side.
yeah, I had no interest in doing that.
You know how many times the news reaches out to me and they're like,
Yeah,
"Hey, we're looking for someone that bought a place and regrets it, and they want to come talk about it." I'm like, "Are you crazy? Like,
I'm
that is
good.
that really what you're looking for? You want me to call one of my
Yeah,
clients and ask them if they
yeah,
regretted it and see if they'll come on live news with their name
yeah,
so that every time
yeah.
someone Googles
Embarrass
them in the
themselves.
future, that's the first link that show, like."
Yeah,
And I'm like, what, like, you really want me to do that? I'm like, do you want to talk to someone that's really happy about their purchase? Or like, no. Like, all right.
yeah. They want the that doesn't sell. If it bleeds, it bleeds.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that because you and Steve are two different provinces with completely different regulations, it becomes more visible to the consumer. There's differences from one province to another. as most interprovincial migration do not realize that. And especially with BC, Toronto, you guys have like the no double ending versus double ending.
Yeah.
Commission
With
structures are
yeah.
completely different. Like, do you guys
Complete. Yeah.
talk about that much or?
Yeah, Steve brings that up lots. He wants to make it very clear that everyone understands that BC commission is way lower than Ontario.
Oh, yeah. All my BC friends are like, oh, if I was an Ontario agent, I would have retired years ago. I was
I
like,
know.
there's
No, he
way more
tells me that all
competition
the time.
here.
He tells me that all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's the one thing we do because, and Steve's he's very into the regulation there. He likes to talk
Yeah.
about it. And even just like small things on like, this sounds like boring, but like last week we are
Yeah.
talking about the fact that like when I have listings, almost always they're auto confirmed with 2 hours notice because that's how I set it up with the sellers to get as many people through as possible. He's
Yeah.
like, there's never been a showing booked and like booked in the morning and happening in the afternoon of one of my listings. It's always the next
Because
day.
he has to be there in person.
No, he doesn't because
Uh,
he's Fraser Valley.
okay.
They are lock boxes.
Yeah.
It's just the
Oh,
Vancouver.
lucky.
Right.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah. Like, but yeah, all these like, so this is actually a series. I'd love your thoughts on it. So when one we were debating doing with Rem in the next year or two, it just once I have time in my calendar is like instead of just because we've done a series that did really well that was like how real estate works around the world. So we did one in like China, India,
Mhm.
things like that. We'd start with Canada, but then I would actually go fly to different places and like spend a day with a top agent there and just do like a day in the life of like a Yellowknife realtor, a
Hmm.
White Horse realtor, one in Newfoundland, and just like hit someone from like different unique situations and eventually go worldwide with it. Um, would you think that would do well? I think it would.
It's a vid. It's you're interviewing them or it's a video.
So it'd be a combo of interview and like vlog kind of because
Yeah,
like
I
you'd
think
want to be out with them. You want to see what like that's what would make the Yellowknife one interesting is like what's your actual like date like how far of an area are you doing?
right,
What's doing a showing out like that in the middle of winter? Not that I want to
right.
go there in the winter, but
Yeah,
like
no,
how
I
do
think
you show a home when it's 24 hours of darkness? Like how does that
yeah,
change your
right.
approach? Or the
I
opposite
think
24
those
hours?
more like really out there areas that we don't talk about very much would probably
Yeah.
be like I would start there.
Yeah. Oh, you got to
Um,
hit the oddities.
because you do one in Ottawa and then Toronto, people are like, well, yeah, that's just what
Yeah.
my day is like, right? Like I think you almost
Yeah.
have to only focus on like
Yeah. The
those,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah. Or you have to find someone who's like out there you can just do it's weird because this is not an air like your day-to-day life is very different. If you're
yeah.
coming here, you have to find someone who's like so niched down that they just have a really weird clientele base that makes their days weird.
Right,
Right.
right.
So like you'd have to then find that for someone like in Toronto, just me following you around would be less interesting than like if I found someone who specifically dealt with like a nudist colony. Right? Like that would
Yeah,
be or like I was speaking to an agent, her specialty, she was like Southwest Ontario. She referred to herself as the trailer queen because like 90% of her business is trailer parks.
oh wow.
And I was like, that's a very different thing. Or like another agent up in Georgina who sells a lot of homes on native land.
Right.
And there it's life lease, like you're basically like getting a 99-year lease instead of freehold. And it's
Hmm.
like how those changes happen. It's like I think that's where this it's interesting.
I think those are the ones that would get people to click and watch and read the
Yeah.
interviews. Not so
Yeah.
much maybe BC or on, well, obviously some parts of Ontario and BC, but
Yeah.
not your Toronto, Vancouver agent.
Yeah. Go to New
Yeah.
South Wales and Australia. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
eventually the
that
goal
would
of
be.
that is all over the world, right? Like, because how real like people talk about how different sometimes the American to the Canadian process is. Like those are almost identical if you leave North America compared to everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, we just have
Like,
different terms we use,
yeah, like
you know.
minor differences here and
Yeah.
there, minor regulation changes, but like there's no like you there's places in Europe or most of Europe like you can hire 10 different listing agents for your property and it's just the first one to get the sale gets the
Hmm.
commission.
We were in
And that's it.
Argentina earlier this year for the
Yeah.
chairman's trip, and
Yeah.
our bus tour guy was like, "I just want you guys to know, mortgages were introduced here for the first time 6 months ago.
Yeah.
They did not
It's good.
have mortgages
Yeah.
until
And
six months ago, and
there's some like
everything's
that.
done cash. You have to
Yeah.
show up to the closing table with cash, literally in a briefcase in a bag. There's no wire transfer, it's cash.
So there must be a like sub industry of security people for those days.
He was telling the story about his parents buying their condo and it was like 200 grand
Yeah.
American like equivalent, but he's like some of these places sell for millions of dollars and they literally go to the bank, run out of the bank, four people have it in the car, and then
Yeah.
you drive as fast as you can, hope you don't get robbed to like
Yeah.
you to meet with the seller and the agents and
And
put
then
it on
they're
the
doing the same
table
thing back to the
and
bank.
they literally are counting the dollar bills on the table. Like yeah,
Yeah. Like
Argentina would be fun.
being
We
able to
should do
film
that.
that, like with them doing the cash in front of you, would make for like just have that guy in the background as you're interviewing them, just
Yeah.
sitting there doing
Yeah.
that would be such a good visual for a video. But like,
Yeah.
and that again, usually that is good. Like, how much do you think about like when you're doing stuff like that, or like other things that are happening that might keep attention? Right? Like, think of like on a clickbaity way, like TikTok videos where they put like the video game on one side of the screen.
Uh,
Like, do you ever do anything like that to like try and hold attention longer in your videos?
no, I'm not against it. I've just
Yeah,
never, because I've been so long form focused, it seems to be those that are like
yeah,
short form stuff mostly.
yeah,
Um, so no, I have no issue with the gimmick stuff.
yeah,
I just like I hope just what I'm talking about is you're interested enough that you'll
yeah,
watch it.
yeah,
And then using like the way that Evan Carmichael taught me to do the first 30 seconds of the video to try to grab your attention, right? So
yeah,
like powerful opinion, back it up with context, and then raise the stakes on why they should care about watching it. And that can be applied to any topic on any video.
yeah,
So the goal is get them past 30 seconds, and then they'll hang out for 8.5 minutes to an hour, depending on
yeah.
what the video is.
What would like roughly speaking would be like the average watch time on your videos?
It's a good question. I could probably look it up. I'd say my average video is probably like 10 minutes. Like a
Yeah.
normal video would be 10 minutes. I don't know if there's a way to see exact average watch time. I'll find if I can find it,
There's
I'll show
somewhere in
you.
there. I forget exactly off the top of my
Yeah,
head
if I
where it
knew where to
is.
look, I could tell you.
Actually, yeah, I can only think of it actually for individual videos where it's like average watch time for
Oh,
that
you know what?
video.
Yeah. So the one I put out yesterday isn't doing very well. It's only at 3 minutes and 30 seconds average watch time, but it was only
Yeah.
a 6 minute video. So it's still
Yeah, it's
50%,
still pretty good.
but it's just my watch hours are 94 hours lower than usual. So I know like
Yeah.
something didn't click on that one.
Yeah. So that's what is it? So then you got to start looking at where's the drop offs.
Yeah.
In there. So question, do you still focus heavy on other social media such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or are you just YouTube and podcasts?
I'm pretty much just YouTube. Like, I mean, Instagram is big for us too, but mostly
Yeah.
because of other realtors.
Yeah.
So that's
And
my
do you ever
platform.
push people from YouTube to Instagram? And the reason I ask, like, there's an agent in Windsor who does YouTube really well, Aditya Soma, if you know him. He hired ISAs for his Instagram DMs and he uses YouTube to drive people over to his Instagram. And but his ISAs never pick up the phone; they just sit and answer DMs.
Huh. No, I've always done the opposite. I try
Yeah,
to drive people from Instagram stories to the YouTube videos.
yeah,
I did recently set up through many chats to like when someone follows you,
yeah.
like
Auto
the
DM.
auto DM and wait 10 minutes. And that started, I think I got two
So
rental leads for my team so
what's
far
the
from it.
message? What message do you send when that one comes in?
I'll tell you. It is. I literally just had one before. I have two people that have responded to it right now that I haven't got back to yet. But
Yeah.
hey, thanks for the follow. Curious, what made you hit follow? You interested in Toronto real estate or just curious about the market? Either way, thanks for connecting. So that's the
So
message.
change it because I've seen
Yeah,
this one work really well.
yeah.
And it's almost the same. It's, hey, thanks for following. Are you just curious about real estate or are you planning a move?
Okay, I'm gonna write this down.
Because no one's hitting follow on a realtor generally unless they're either curious about real estate or the planning move.
Okay,
And if they say curious about the Toronto market, then you just use that for research in the sense of like, well, what parts of it are you interested in?
right.
That can help me figure out what videos to come up next. And if they say plan and move, you go right into qualifying.
Yeah, so this one responded at 1:21 today and said, "Hey Tom, how are you? Saw your news clip. I've been looking at Toronto condos, but probably wouldn't be able to buy for another year." So like that was the first
That's
I
a
didn't It's a
Yeah,
good
that's
one.
pretty good.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, man. Even though you're not ready, do you want to have a quick call and I can go over the main thing. So
Yeah.
you got your ducks in a row, and then there's two others that
Yeah.
just came in. Just another real estate agent from North Carolina
Yeah.
that said, "Hey Tom, I'm a new agent in Salmon Arm, BC. I've been watching your show. Oh, on REM this morning. Look, it's someone watching right now. There you go.
Yeah. Well,
There
Colby
you
is
go.
literally that was the first
There's
message
Colby.
here.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
First one
So there you
commented
go.
today.
See, so it's Colby. Sorry, I didn't actually send you that myself. That was
Yeah.
automated, but proves that it works, right?
Yeah. Well, he
That's so
definitely
funny.
knows it because that you were here talking and he would have seen it not in your hands.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Or think
Yeah.
someone on my team reached out. But yeah, that was just
Yeah.
completely automated. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a few minutes to? So we normally do after show. I know if you have to go, we only booked an
No, it's
hour,
fine.
but
I'm good.
sometimes.
I'm good.
Okay. So if you're here, if you're watching the recording, see ya. We're gonna go to the after show where we turn off the recording and then we keep going, which you only get this part if you stay live. So show up live next time and we'll do it. And we'll have Tom back for future episodes because obviously he's replacing Taylor now.
Yep. I'm
So
the
we'll go from
co-host.
there. If people want to reach out to you, how do they do it? Best way.
Uh, Instagram is the Story Team, or just type in Tom Story. That's probably the best place to connect.
Perfect. All right. Well, see everyone next week's episode, which will be, I believe, the last one of 2025. So hopefully Taylor's better by then. If not, we're calling you back in, Tom.
Yeah.
See you, everyone.